Today's video is sponsored by Into the AM. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to my channel, Movie Files. We are back discussing Only Murders in the Building, Season 2, Episode 3, which was titled The Last Day of Bunny Folger, an episode in which we might have gotten a clue or two on who the killer might be, but more importantly, we learned that our crew could have potentially prevented it. We're discussing that and so much more in today's spoiler review. But before we get into the discussion, if you all enjoy this type of content, well, make sure you're giving me a follow on Instagram as well as on TikTok. That can be found in the description of this video. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you all enjoy early movie reviews, TV breakdowns like this, as well as live discussions, we'll consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up as well as share it. But more importantly, I do these videos to interact with you all in the community. So let me know your thoughts in the comments from your pros, your cons on this bunny focused episode. And of course, we solve mysteries over here on this community. So let me know your suspect list, your thoughts and your theories in the comments below. We got a lot to break down, so with that being said, full spoilers ahead. As we open the episode with an exclusive interview with our one and only key witness, which is Miss Gambolini, we see Charles informing our team about the possible connections that he might have been the brother of Bunny and that they made out at a Christmas party. But seriously, going back to just what I love about this show, besides the amazing mystery aspect, it's the comedic beats. Seeing Charles and Oliver impersonating Bunny in front of the bird was so damn funny. But let's get back to the serious stuff because we got a mystery, a murder mystery to solve. And what do we know so far is that there is a missing knife. The last words of Bunny was 14 and savage. And now we have a receipt on her last day. But we also know that she saw our team the last day in the final moments before she died, which we'll talk about that scene a little bit later. But we transition to a flashback of Bunny waking up as she's mentioning that this is her last day as the board president, but also we know it as an audience, it's her last day on Earth. And when I was, opening up the episode, obviously the title alluded to that this will be a bunny-focused episode, and I immediately went to, I remember last year when we got that Theo episode, I was like, man, I don't know if I want to spend an episode with a non-trio character, but I was wrong because I love that episode that we got with Theo, learning who he was, seeing his past, and the same thing goes for this episode. We've only seen one side of Bunny, not into this episode, and seen that other side. I really, really enjoyed this character study, and we're going to break it all down as we get back into the episode here. We see her morning routine as she's talking to her bird about what her mother warned her about taking over as a president, as she's preparing her final speech. We see that she maybe wants to move to Florida in a warmer location as she stumbles upon our crew with their #1 fans, and we know Bunny, she doesn't take anyone's nonsense. She's there to crash this gathering, pointing out all the rules that they're breaking. As we see Nadia approach and they're having a conversation about her, Bunny passing the baton, passing that mantle of the board president to her, and we'll talk about a confrontation a little bit later between those two. But more interesting in these opening moments, we see that she gets a very mysterious call from a person inquiring about the painting. Now, from that call, that brief scene, we can tell that this person's been nagging her. That could have been the same person that left that letter that Charles, or let's just say Oliver, found in her belongings last week. We can tell that they've been nagging her about it. And, in my mind, we talked about it last week. I'm not saying that Alice is the killer. I said it in my review last week, but I think Alice Banks has something to do with it. And again, I mentioned my big theory is I think that she is related to Rose, and I think Rose is the one that really wants that painting, but we know Alice works in the painting industry, work hand in hand. I'm thinking that's the case right now. And also when she goes to the diner, we see the waiter says, oh, are you going to be meeting with your friend again? I think that friend, so-called friend, and she says she's not a friend, or he or she's not a friend. I think that was Alice trying to persuade her. And again, it even makes more sense why Alice would try to get close to Maple. So again, that's my working theory so far, and I'll give you my suspect list at the end of this video. But let me know if we're on that wavelength right now in the comments below. But getting back into the discussion, we see that, of course, from everything we've seen in the show so far, she's been a bit uptight and a bit rude. But this is the other side of Bunny that we get in this episode. All that stuff was a bit of a front because we see that she's actually a good person with a kind heart, as we see that she gives her waiter a very generous tip and also some life advice. And it's really in this moment that the episode really shined on the misunderstanding of Bunny. And this is the brilliance of the show, is we can see so many different perspectives of how our crew, Maple, Charles, and Oliver, how they interact with that person. But then we don't know how that other person acts when they're not around them. So I love that we get that reversal of Bunny's perspective and that she is a kind person. This is when the episode really kind of clicked for me personally. And getting back into it, we get a surprise party that is thrown for Bunny with the other board members, but she just wants to focus on work. But she's got a surprise for them. She ain't stepping down, which leads to the new board member, Nina, being absolutely upset about the news. And she talks about her plans for the building, but she gets a bit aggressive when she hears the news, and the claws are all the way out as she starts to call Bunny selfish, and as she starts to get into the whole, you're only in this position because of your mom. They're going at it. And the biggest thing that I took away from this moment, as the show points out a couple scenes later, Nina, is she a suspect? Because again, that was very aggressive, very kind of going at her throat. And she was like, I'm going to change this. I'm going to make sure that I'm the board president, as we know that she is currently in the timeline. So Nina, did she get on that suspect list? Because as we go to the next scene, we see that our crew in the present timeline have put her as a prime suspect. So again, my question to you all, where does Nina land on your list as far as suspects? Let's talk about that in the comments. But getting back to discussion, we go back to Bunny's last day as she gives our crew some real champagne, and she thanks them for saving the building as they give her some free merchandise, and they quickly say their goodbyes to her. But maybe she should have been invited, because we see that she's outside crying. And again, now that we've seen that more vulnerable, loving, caring side of Bunny, I'm like, come on, guys, why don't you invite her in? Obviously, we know what happens, but I feel bad for her, because again, she's misunderstood. She has to kind of be firm and be kind of stern when you're a board member or a board president, because you don't want people throwing stuff around the building. You want to preserve the integrity of the building. So yes, you have to be stern. So it has that persona, that type of mindset that she presents, but she's actually a really good person. So I feel bad for her. And like I mentioned up top, if they would have invited her in, she might still be alive. So unfortunately, well, we don't know that, because maybe if she would have left the party, the person that we're going to get into might have just waited and killed her when she arrived home. But at least she would have had a few more hours to have some type of happiness with our crew. So that really broke my heart. Let me know what you all thought about that. But getting back into Charles acknowledging the simple act of kindness, and it could have saved her life, as they take their party upstairs. And this is where we see a person walking out of the elevator with some heavy boots. Now, I couldn't tell if that was a male or a female. Again, was it Alice Banks? Was it Rose? Was it someone else that we haven't met quite yet? My question for you all, do you think we've seen the killer in these first 3 episodes so far? I don't know if we have. Let me know your thoughts on all that. But getting back into wrapping up the episode, we end with the bird quoting the movie that they were watching before she died. Knock on the door, and we see the attack happen, which ultimately leads to Bunny getting killed, which leads to the scene of Maple finding her. So again, based on the shadows on the ceiling, it looked like the person was wearing like a ski mask or some glasses. And again, I'm assuming that they had to pick up Bunny, put her in Maple's apartment. So again, is it a 2-person job? Is this person a male, a female? Is it Alice? Is it Rose? Is it someone else entirely? Let me know your thoughts on that. But giving you all my brief review on this episode, this episode to me showcased the brilliance of this show, that you can focus on our leads and have a good time and have great chemistry, but then you can go away from our leads and still have the integrity of great writing, a great character focus, being in the mindset of Bunny and seeing her perspective of how she views our tenants, but also how she cares about people, how she wants to preserve it. Like I said, the integrity of the building. This is a very, a great building with a lot of history to it, and she wants to keep that integrity there. So I love how this show just continues to deliver a captivating character study all within 30 minutes. This show is able to do more in 30 minutes than some hour shows. So I love this show. I love this episode, and I really feel bad for Bunny now. And it really makes me, I mentioned last week, hashtag justice for Bunny. Put that in the comments. We need to figure out who this murderer is, which brings me to, again, I just want to highlight the performance. Jane Howdy, so her displaying the tough nonsense side of Bunny, but also showing the human side, the caring side, and again, hashtag justice for Bunny. So again, those are my thoughts, and just to give you all my updated suspect list. So I definitely feel as though Bunny knows the killer, right? Because I assume it's the same person that was on the phone, or maybe one of two people that's working on this two-way job. She knew this person because when she opened that door, she said, "What the F do you want?" So it clearly shows that they've interacted before, whether, again, it's the person on the phone, the person that she met at the diner, the person that wants the painting. I think that there's definitely some connections there, and the big question is, does that person live in the building? Let me know your thoughts on all of that. Again, really great episode, but let me know your pros, your cons, your thoughts, your theories, predictions, and your updated suspect list in the comments below. I want to take the time before we wrap up to thank the sponsor in this video, just giving them a quick plug before we wrap up. Today's video is sponsored by Into the AM. Into the AM is a clothing company with a variety of amazing products such as t-shirts, hoodies, jackets, shorts and underwear, headwear, and much more. Their t-shirts have unique designs, they're incredibly soft and extremely comfortable, and they're made to last. But the best part is, you can get 10% off by using my discount code MovieFiles when you're selecting your new gear, which you can find that code in the description below. So yes, again, shout out to Into the AM. You can use my discount code to get some awesome t-shirts and other apparel like you all can see I'm wearing now. They are a fantastic company with some amazing things, so definitely check them out. But wrapping it all up, I appreciate you all watching this video. Before you leave, again, just a friendly reminder to like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. Hope you all enjoyed the review. Hope you're staying safe. Come and join the community. Check out my previous reviews for this show. Check out my most recent review, and we'll catch you all on the next breakdown.